surprised because when they said it is only 100 million miles away from us, I was like, okay, so that's a great thing. Honestly, my third thing is that I'm going to the Arctic Innovation Competition today, and if there's any place where innovation is going to be necessary to get us there someday, it's going to start with events like this. And so many of the creators that are out there that are looking at things that are going to basically propel us into not just the next century, but the next millennia. And it's just such a cool thing to have an opportunity to be here with you today. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Cam Carlson. I'm the Dean for the College of Business and Security Management. I have a great time. Like I said, I'm shepherded by some awesome individuals that set up some really quality events and two events each and every year that I really take an incredible amount of pride in. One is the Arctic Innovation Competition that we run, and the second would be the Business Leader of the Year. And they are a lot of fun. They connect the college to the community. They connect the college here with the individuals that are across campus, many of which that we have here today, a lot of my compatriots in crime. Thank you to our students and our volunteers, competitors, and community members for being here with us today. It's, again, going to be a lot of fun. I always enjoy this. We're here to celebrate bold thinking and fresh ideas from right here in Fairbanks and across Alaska. However, I would note we even have individuals from the lower 48 this year, with some of the competitors having family members that are here, two of them specifically from Florida. Not just a kind of an idle, walk to get here at this point, and even Washington. So again, thank you for joining us here today. The Arctic Innovation Competition has been going on since 2009. So we now have a great track record of events that have kind of followed us throughout time, and it keeps getting larger, and we keep getting more competitors each and every year. We're especially proud of the collaboration between UAF and the UAA students during this, the early rounds of judging that we had this year. I know I see some of the students that are off over here. Having had great ideas is just a first step. It really takes individuals with grit, vision, and a lot of determination to get us to this point in time. While some competitors may walk away with more prize money than others, every single person that participates here is going to walk across the stage today will deserve the recognition that they have put forward in terms of the amount of time and effort and thought that they put into whatever type of innovation and presentation that they have put forward as part of the event. These make it richer and, again, just so much more fulfilling for all of us. More than just awards, AIC is about growth. Standing up here and sharing your ideas with the world is a huge accomplishment. Especially if you're somebody like me that does not pine to be up in front of a lot of people. I think it's great because it's a skill that we need to learn at one point in time or another. I encourage each of you to take what you've learned today, build on it, and move forward. Your journey is just getting started. The College of Business and Security Management is particularly proud to host the Arctic Innovation Competition, but we don't do it alone. We're only one small slice of that pie. This event is made possible to the generous support of so many others, and in particular our sponsors. You'll find the full list of sponsors within your program, and at this time we'd like to recognize the sponsors and representatives who are here with us today. As I call out your organization, please stand and remain standing so that we can thank you all together. Let's hold our applause if we could, although I know nobody ever holds their applause for some reason, until the end, and we'll show our collective appreciation for the incredible businesses that bring AIC to life. Our presenting sponsor, Usibelli Coal Mine, Alaska 529, perfect, look at that, GCI, man, this is all coming together so well. Kinross, Alaska, North Rim Bank, Mount McKinley Bank. Yeah, Jim, you too. Respec. I knew David would be right there for us. Alaska EPSCOR. Design Alaska. Juneau Economic Development Council. Fairbanks Economic Development Corporation. And our two new sponsors, Vicinity and Bettisworth North. Excellent. Again, everyone, please join me in a round of applause for our sponsors. Thank you, sponsors, and please be seated. Since this is a UAF event, it's important that we begin by acknowledging the land on which we gather. We will also want to take a moment for a safety briefing, especially as we welcome so many guests and student presenters today. To lead us through both the land acknowledgement and the safety minute, please welcome Marcelo Chancellor Lopez, a standout accounting student at CBSM, future MBA candidate, and a key member of our front office team. Marcelo, the mic is yours. Don't you love he's got that vest too, man? He's just killing it.
Appreciate it. All right, thank you, Cam. Yes, so I want to say the land acknowledgement. As we manifest a holistic future, we acknowledge the indigenous peoples of the land on which we work and live. We acknowledge the Alaskan Native nations upon whose ancestral lands our campuses reside. In Fairbanks, our Trothiatic campus is located on the ancestral lands of the Dana people of the lower Tanana River. As Dean Carlson mentioned, my name is Marcelo, and just last year it was my pleasure to be one of the AIC volunteers and host events and participate in events like these. These events have helped me polish my public speaking skills and take on additional leadership roles at the university and within my life. It is always smart to have a safety plan in place. In the case of emergency, there are several exits from this room. One option is immediately to my left, and the other is on the upper left-hand corner of this room. Alternatively, you may walk out either the venue doors in the main lobby and continue straight to the glass doors of where you entered the building. The designated gathering spot is at the far end of the parking lot next to the 30th Avenue. Please stay as calm as possible in any emergency. Now, I'm going to pass it over to Felicia Tapp to get the main event started.
Hi everyone, my name is Felicia Tapp, and I am a senior studying Business Administration and Applied Management, and I serve as the Vice President for National Affairs of the Associated Students of Business. I am so excited to be an AIC Main Division MC today. Before we start the presentations, make sure to enter your name into the door prize drawing in the registration room. One entry per person. Competitors are not eligible since you are all receiving cash awards, and you must be present to win. You do not want to miss a chance to win one of these great prizes. So I am pleased to introduce the esteemed panel of Main Division AIC judges. Please welcome Jack Wilbur, the 2025 Main Division Judges Chair from Design Alaska. And after more than a decade of volunteering for AIC, this will be his last year as chair. John Bittner of the Alaska Small Business Development Center. Jim Coley, representing Mount McKinley Bank. Brian Holst, joining us from Juneau Economic Development. Justin Seavey, representing our presenting sponsor, Usibelli Coal Mine, who is also a UAF MBA graduate. And David Sandberg from Respect, also a UAF MBA graduate. And our newest judge, Melissa Rigg from GCI. Thank you. Main Division finalists are competing for up to $15,000 in cash prizes. While the names are listed in the program according to today's presentation order, please note that this order does not reflect their semifinal scores. Each competitor will have 5 minutes to present their idea, followed by 5 minutes of a Q&A with the judges. So, first up to present is Rudra Patel, sharing his idea, Psychmap, Quantifiable Psychiatry.
Hey everyone, can you hear me? Perfect. Let me know when I can start. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rudra Patel, and I am the CEO of Psychmap, where we are revolutionizing psychiatric diagnoses through AI-driven EEG biomarkers. So now let me get into the problem. When you think of psychiatry, usually think about going to the psychiatrist or, you have a very comfortable conversation, you sit down, talk about your feelings in life. But the issue with that is that it's very subjective, right? You get to share what you want to share. It's not like a blood test where you get something drawn out of your actual body, gets sent to a laboratory, and you get a very scientific test done. So psychiatry has 970 million people right now that are affected globally, and these subjective assessments lead to 40 to 50% mixed diagnosis rates. And leading off of that, patients often see over 3 clinicians over a course of 5 to 7 years and to get their correct diagnoses. And this leads to over $200 billion of economic burden annually. And on the right, I have the highest misdiagnosis rates for some of the disorders. And you can see, like social anxiety disorder, 97 or almost 90% of the time it's been misdiagnosed. So my solution is Psychmap, which is a AI-powered EEG analyzer for 16 different psychiatric disorders, and it was actually able to achieve a 96.3% diagnostic accuracy in just 5 minutes, and we're working on improving that accuracy right now. And this reduces misdiagnoses by 58%, transforming subjective assessments into quantifiable biomarkers. So on the right here, I actually have what the software looks like, and this is after an analysis was done. I believe it diagnosed it as trauma and stress disorder. Can't really see here. Yeah. Now, let me get into the technology on how it works. So it's using a hybrid deep learning architecture. So the first step is the EEG. It's just basically some sort of cap like this. It picks up the electrical signals of your brain, and that's also what the image on the top is. Once you get those different electrical signals, it's sent to a machine learning algorithm. We're running 2 different algorithms, the CNN and the BILSTM. And there's also wavelet-based denoising and artifact rejection built in, just in case there's just noise in those signals. And at the end, I wanted to actually know what's going on in the brain and like why is the AI saying what it's saying, so I built in interpretal AI. So going a bit more off of that, so the overall accuracy is 20% higher than traditional methods, with traditional methods being the normal just sitting and talking, right? The individual accuracies for some of these disorders are really, really high, with PTSD and schizophrenia being the highest. And the diagnosis now can happen in minutes rather than the weeks and months to get the accurate actual diagnosis. At the very bottom, I have a picture of some different disorders. So across the x-axis, this is the different disorders. And what we can essentially see is, depending on what disorder you have, your overall electrical activity of your brain does look different. And on the right is just a kind of like an accuracy chart showing the accuracies. So let me get into the actual business aspect here now. So this is a $137 billion market, with my focus being the 235 million plus patients in the developed markets. This is a blue ocean strategy because it's a completely new market with the objective diagnostic aspect of it. And what I'm trying to implement is a multi-tiered software as a service model for diverse healthcare providers. Now, going into more details, so I would have 3 subscription tiers with enterprise, professional, and specialist. And I want to have partnerships with the EEG hardware companies such as Emotive, electronic health record systems, so that all that will be easy for doctors to access, and academic research collaborations. And I also have the projected financial growth on the right there as well. Now, my go-to-market strategies is a phased rollout. So right now we're working on FDA approval. Hopefully that happens soon. We're actually able to get IRB approval to get our own data to improve the accuracies. But hopefully by 2026, everything will be perfect and running internationally. So what I'm asking for is $15K in funding, and this will go towards clinical validation, regulatory, improving the actual technology, the strategy, and operating costs. So at the end, I am, through Psychmap, transforming mental health care from subjective assessments to objective science, and this helps improve millions of lives. On the top right, I have like a comparison thing between the current traditional method of how we diagnose patients, some of the methods that have been tried using AI, and Psychmap. Thank you so much.
So, first question on this: when you were talking about accuracy and testing, was this on actual people that you did this testing and gone through, or was it just data that was run through for your accuracy?
Right, so the initial data set was comprised of 945 patients. They had the 16 different disorders, and so the machine learning algorithm was trained off of that. Now, but for the testing, a part of the data set was split up before it was trained on so that there would not be overfitting. So that was, after it was split off and the machine learning algorithm was trained, that separate data set that it was not aware of was put into the system and the accuracies were taken there.
Thank you for your presentation. I have a question about the kind of the bias. We know AI systems can inherit biases from the data that they're trained on.
Right.
How potentially leading to inaccurate diagnoses. So how do you address kind of the biases to ensure there's equitable care and equitable output?
All right, so there's two answers to that. First is the actual algorithm that I'm running is two separate algorithms that are looking at two different parts of the data of the EEG. There's the CNN and the BiLSTM, right? So one is time series and one is, I'll try to explain, but it's essentially looking at two different types of data and trying to make independent diagnosis and then combining it and then figuring out what the actual diagnosis might be. So that helps a bit. The second part is just having more data to work with, right? The more data that you have, the more accurate the algorithms will be, as well as applicable to a broader range of populations. So I was actually just able to get IRB approval to start doing my own testing and getting the data at my local university. So that should also help as well.
So who would use your diagnosis? Where does your diagnosis, who does the diagnosis and who uses it?
Yeah, so psychiatrists would be the primary users of this system, and how I'm seeing it being implemented is more so like how you usually go to the doctor and they take your vitals, right? So they take your heart rate, your blood pressure. I think this can be used in that sort of aspect where I don't believe a computer should be telling you the 100% decision that you have schizophrenia. There should be because the human mind is so complicated, there needs to be the verbal aspect as well. So I think this can be used as a way of just trying to figure out what might be going on in the brain. So let's say the person has depression as well as suicidal thoughts and they're not sharing because they're not comfortable with the psychiatrist yet. If the psychiatrist knows based off of a primary reading of the EEG that they might be going through these things, they might be able to tailor their questions in some sort of way. It could also be used in an aspect of seeing a progress of how a person is developing through the course of their therapy. So it could be at the very start, they take the EEG test and get their diagnosis, tells them how likely other disorders are there as well. And then every so often, a couple of sessions, they can do it again and see if there's any improvements, if there's any other disorders that are popping up, maybe it's getting worse, something like that.
Thank you for your presentation. Question, how does Psychmap ensure the accuracy and reliability of its diagnosis across diverse populations, considering potential variations in ethnicity, age, gender, that sort of thing?
Right, so that goes back to the data thing where the more data that I have access to, the more applicable it will be. Now, of course, the human brain in some aspects is very similar to, wherever you go, right? So there will be those similarities, but of course, there's going to be different social norms, etc., that do affect individual populations. So I'm just trying to right now get as much varying data that I can so that not only will these individual accuracies be better, but it'll be more applicable to all over the globe.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. And this certainly seems new to me, application of AI, but I also understand that, anticipate that there are going to be lots of people that are going to think of AI applications, including this one. So is there something about what you're doing that you believe puts you far ahead or distinguishes you from a copycat?
Yeah, definitely. So like I mentioned, there have been other attempts at making some sort of AI diagnosis thing. Now, with them, it's been like a single disorder where it's like schizophrenia versus a healthy person, and the accuracies even there weren't the best. What I did was the first thing in literature of combining both the two algorithms, the CNN and the BiLSTM, and nobody has done that before, and the accuracy are much, much higher. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Rudra, and thank you for joining us from Florida. We really appreciate you traveling that far. Up next, we have Michael Williams. Michael Williams will be presenting his idea, Peony Botanical Extract.
Good afternoon. My name is Mike Williams. I'm with the Peony Botanical Extract Project. In 2001, research on growing peonies in Alaska began as a 10-year research project at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Dr. Patricia Holloway planted the first test plot of peonies at the Gorkson Botanical Garden. By 2023, it was estimated there were over 200 peony farmers in Alaska producing and exporting over 300,000 stems. Alaska peony farms are scattered throughout Alaska, and most are in remote locations, taking advantage of the unique microclimates conducive to peony farming. These remote locations present a host of logistical challenges. Operating costs are exponentially higher given Alaska's distance from markets and suppliers. Peony cut flowers require overnight shipment to reach their destination in a marketable condition. Overnight shipping has become constrained over the last few years, resulting in a great deal of spoilage and lost revenue. A good portion of peony farmers' fate is in the hands of the shippers. During the Alaska peony harvest timeframe, July to September, U.S. hubs are experiencing the highest temperatures of their summer season. One hiccup in the transportation chain and fragile peonies are destroyed. While most peony farmers insure their shipments, carriers are becoming more and more reluctant to cover the losses as claims become more frequent. Often a large percentage of peony buds are scarred by weather, insects, or birds, and they're rejected from entering the cut flower markets. There is no other outlet, resulting in thousands of peony stems being discarded annually. In 2022, Eaglesong purchased a commercial distillation system to start exploring commercial production of peony extract and monetization of this waste. Over 500 gallons of concentrated peony extract was created. Value-added products were created to include carbonated soda, ice cream, candies, barbecue sauces, basting sauces, pancake syrup, and flavoring for mixed alcoholic drinks. Our project is a bold attempt to position botanical peony extract as a nationally recognized extract flavoring and promote it to the food and beverage industries. This project will create an entirely new market for Alaska peony producers and producers throughout the United States. Future goals include promoting the pharmaceutical, cosmetic, and industrial benefits of various peony plant extracts. Alaska peony farmers compete for labor and transportation with the well-established fish industry and the ever-expanding tourism industry. Extract production creates the opportunity to establish more long-term stable jobs, reducing the competition with those industries. Peony extract will encourage more environmentally friendly farming methods. Peonies are not currently being ingested, so there's little concern about what is used, as long as it's effective. That thought process will have to evolve if a peony farmer is to enter production for consumption by humans and animals. It will also keep the flowers and foliage out of the peony waste stream. Studies conducted in China, South Korea, and India found that herbaceous peony petals contain numerous chemical compounds such as vitamins, proteins, sugars, organic acids, rich mineral elements, amino acids, a large number of total phenolics, flavonoids, and other bioactive substances with the ability to eliminate free radicals. A 2017 study of Alaska peony foliage waste foliage found anti-corrosion properties with further studies highly recommended. Discovery of antibacterial properties in peonies is especially exciting. So what's the market? Precedence research of Canada and India reports the global flavor market was worth $17.9 billion in 2021 and forecast to reach $26.3 billion in 2030. North America is the second largest region in consumption of food flavoring, making up 31.4% of the revenue share. The largest consumer is the Asia-Pacific region at 41.6% share. This easily puts Alaska at the doorstep of almost 3/4 of the world's consumption. Austria Juice, a manufacturer of beverage compounds and flavors operating 15 production plants with over 1,000 employees worldwide, states the topic of health and well-being, the desire for new flavor creations, as well as enjoyment with a clear conscience are the top of consumers' wish list. Thus, fruits and botanicals associated with the immune system are of great importance. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. You talk about the change in or the potential need for changes in farming methods if people are going to start consuming peony extract. Is there anything required as far as FDA approval or standards that have to be established for peony extract?
Yes, sir, there is, and that is probably the biggest goal to be reached at this point is FDA approval. We require what is called a GRAS approval, and that's generally recognized as safe. Any element or ingredient to be introduced into consumption through food and beverage requires this. And this is a hot button topic right now at FDA, and it's kind of a moving target. But we require that in order to sell outside of Alaska, nationally and internationally.
Thank you for your presentation. I actually like the anti-corrosion, put that underneath my truck, driving around with all the brine.
Me too.
My question is kind of related to the Alaska economy and how you might envision this in terms of revitalizing Alaska's economy, maybe job creation, business growth, long-term economic sustainability. If you could speak to that, please.
Sure. So the Alaska peony industry is still a relatively new industry. It's only about 15 years old. We're really just we know we can raise peonies. It is the market now that we need to tackle, market and infrastructure. And we need, because of the difficulties that are developing on shipping fresh cut peonies out, we need an alternative market. We've needed one for quite a while. And this will stabilize, no doubt in my mind, it will stabilize the Alaska peony producers' business model. And it will improve our ability to recruit and retain workers, not just for a short 60-day period. Conceivably, we can employ people year-round. In addition to that, we're working with other businesses, with manufacturers within Alaska. As an example, the Alaska Food Company in Wasilla. They are actually dehydrating the liquid extract that we create now. For us, and they are turning it into, that's 30 peonies right there. And they are turning it into a concentrated powder for us. So not only are we helping our farmers and our laborers, but we're also very much involved in other industries within the state.
So is there nobody else doing peony extract for flavoring, coloring, that sort of thing?
There is not in the U.S. Peonies are one of the highest, most expensive flowers in the cut flower industry. So while most peony producers are doing well selling the flowers that they have at a relatively high price, they're not motivated to look at other markets at this point. If I'm making money off of it, why should I change? In the case of Alaska peony producers, and this will expand throughout the U.S. and probably internationally, our costs are so much higher. Our transportation issues are greater. And this allows us to take a commodity that can go bad in 24 to 48 hours, and we can create a concentrated extract. We can reduce that down to a powder. We can put that into Mylar bags. It can be stored for months, even years. But right now, it is not being done throughout the U.S. You have, lavender and other flowers, even roses, to some degree, are being reduced down to some extracts. I was in Starbucks yesterday, and they're promoting their lavender drinks right now. Didn't try one, but they are there, and we fully expect Peony to be another. And the health drink industry, like I said, that is a quickly growing market. Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, and Nestle's just this past week announced that they are moving into that market because the consumer wants it.
Yeah, the last question, thank you for your presentation, is where do you source the peony flowers that don't meet those aesthetic standards? Is it only from your farm or farms in Alaska? Is there an opportunity to get kind of the bad peonies, if you will, from other places?
Alaska peony producers cannot meet the demand. It's going to come from all of us. Thank you.
What a sweet idea, Michael. Thank you so much for your presentation. Up next, we have the Alaska Adaptable Kit Foundation. They are the third main division idea, submitted by Stacy and Dan Fritz, Jessica McKay, Ryan Tinsley. Some of the team members are ready to present now.
Hello, thank you. We are Alaska Adaptable Housing based here in Fairbanks, and thank you for this opportunity to present our adaptable foundation system. Here's our team. Please visit our website if you are curious about us or the adaptability of buildings. Thawing permafrost, subsiding ground, flooding, and erosion are destroying homes across Alaska. Foundations are homes' most critical structural component, but maintaining them with uneven settling can be difficult or impossible. Alaska has a severe housing crisis. Many homes need to be moved. A recent UAF study found that Fairbanks homeowners have spent over $226 million mitigating issues caused by permafrost degradation. A new permafrost discovery gateway project has doubled the mapped infrastructure of Alaska. The economic value of threatened buildings in Alaska's main permafrost zones is estimated at $13 to $16 billion. These are the primary types of foundations used in permafrost areas where homes must be supported off the ground. Our minimum criteria is that a foundation must reliably protect homes from damage even when there is dramatic ground movement. To achieve that, a foundation must be integrated and stiff so that even when it comes out of level, everything remains in plane and it's easy to re-level. Of the four options here, only the skid meets that criteria. Skids are solid, but they're custom fabricated, heavy, and expensive to ship. We are inspired by Anchorage engineer Mark Anderson's Arctic Surface Foundation. A few were built 20 years ago in communities with unstable ground, and they've performed extremely well. It's rigid, protects the structure, it's easy to level and readjust, but its large components are tough to ship, and it needs heavy equipment to install. We've developed design constraints for an ideal Alaskan foundation and are refining this comparison chart. What kind of ground prep is needed? Can it be moved easily? Can you add on, etc.?
Our system is a structurally rigid, but it comes as a flat pack kit optimized for standardized pallets and shipping containers. It only has a few different standardized components that bolt together on site without heavy equipment or specialized skills. The 4x4 foot ring frames absorb and transfer loads. When bolted together, the system functions like a deep truss directly supporting load paths. Our system can be wrapped within the building envelope to create an accessible heated utility corridor. Air can be circulated to any part of the home, tanks and mechanical systems are secure, and the occupants enjoy a warm floor. The interoperable components can be configured to work on inclines or raised above floodplains. Particularly on stable ground, our structural panels can be added inside the foundation perimeter for extra rigidity. It is a consistent, repeating grid with standardized dimensions and centers. The grid symmetry with standardized components eliminates capture, meaning all the components can be removed and replaced independently, making it easy to reconfigure or expand. Commercially available adjustable posts simply bolt to the bottom of our system's hub post as needed. The Renewable Energy Lab conducted a novelty search and submitted a patent application last summer. Our foundation sections were seismically tested to the breaking point with 2 different wall systems. These structural scenarios stressed the foundation differently. Our system met the design load criteria without damage in both cases. With UAF, we are exploring alternate materials that are locally available and lighter. After more modeling and optimization, we need to deploy and evaluate a full-scale prototype.
Our system will compete on cost and outcompete on performance and functionality. Adaptable foundation hub posts can support external structures like porches, stairs, and scaffolding. It can also be a retrofit solution. Alaska's housing need indicates the potential market. The YK Delta alone needs over 2,000 new homes, and Alaska needs at least 55,000, and our solution could meet market needs outside of Alaska. Here's our business model. We're working on a complete building system and launching the foundations as a standalone product as soon as possible due to the critical need. We work closely with a group of Alaskan contractors and builders who are organizing construction apprenticeships and are ready to incorporate our foundation system. We also work on bio-insulation and engineered local lumber products. Thank you, and we look forward to your questions.
Hold on, please. What do you guys do? Turn it on. Push it up. All right, who's first? First, second? Okay, so Bryant with the new 2 mics. Get out of the way, and y'all can go.
Thank you for this presentation and excellent product, very, very needy. You've mentioned how easy it is to maintain and build. Can you talk a little about the fabrication? Does this have potential to be fabricated in Alaska? How complicated is it to make this product?
It was designed, the initial design that was tested was developed specifically for ease of fabrication. So it really consists of 3 components. You have a ring that's rolled, you have the outside frame, and you have these interior gussets, and the gussets are all symmetrical, identical. So it was really designed so that even a basic fab shop could produce it. Yeah.
I think I'm next. Thank you for the presentation, and I appreciate the vision. I'm curious on the engineering side. Where is this in the structural engineering development life cycle? And in terms of long spans, what I think of is like the Boise Cascade specifier chart where you have span tables. You know what you can handle with certain loads and certain structures. If you could speak to that, and maybe if you were to win this competition, how you might develop additional engineering.
Yeah, we are already in conversations with a local engineer for additional modeling. You know, as far as like, we are not to the point where I can say, you know, we're at 30-foot span point to point. Where we're at is that, you know, the initial 2 frames, you know, were put against a reaction wall with a wall on top of them and pushed the walls till they broke. So we do have some, you know, we have some additional work to do. Part of this funding would go to that additional modeling. We'd also like to drop the weight on the units. So we're looking at changing geometry a little bit using some hollow tube instead of flat. So.
Thank you for your presentation. I think this is a really interesting idea. I think that I understand the advantage in assembly. It can be bolted together, and also shipping. From a design standpoint, is this what you would call a custom foundation? Like if I wanted to build a house with this, would I have to go contract with an engineering firm to design the foundation? Or is it something that can just be put together piecemeal by somebody without blueprints?
I mean, our goal is to basically have, it's kind of a, since it's a repeating, is that, depending on the ground conditions, we're going to say, well, you need these additional components to handle that condition, right? So we're going to give you some additional frames that can go on the interior at the corners to stiffen things. But it's based on 4-foot centers. So long as which is a sheet of plywood. And so long as the interior wall plane lines up with the interior plane of the foundation, all the centers from wall to wall inside the home remain on 4-foot centers. So at that point, there's no, you're just like, it makes the design process, one, it saves materials in the construction of the home, and it makes the design process, it allows us our ultimate goals at full kit. So we can do a full modular interior so long as the spatial dimensions within there remain consistent no matter how the foundation is configured.
Well, and so I think just to follow that up, there's not any special site surveying or anything that's required.
Let me just say. So our goal is that somebody should be able to go ahead and start building a house without doing a site-specific geotechnical survey, which is usually required when you're going to do at least a commercial facility. But in housing in Alaska, in remote Alaska, requiring that puts people back tens of thousands of dollars in years. So if we can prove with a full-scale prototype that you can deploy a house, assemble this kit, and build a house on top of it, and not risk any sunk costs, right? You can move the house at any time if a thermokarst hole or subsidence occurs underneath it, and it will not be damaged.
It's kind of like a skid foundation. You don't need a geotech. You can drag the thing across country. So it's that going for that kind of rigidity.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alaska Adaptable team. We really appreciate. Could we have our last presenter come up? To round out the main division finals, please welcome Matthew Breer, who is presenting his idea, the breakaway electrical plug adapter.
So, good afternoon. Let's begin with a show of hands. How many people have driven away without unplugging their vehicle? Yeah, it's a pretty common problem, but you're all in luck. I'm Matthew Bearer, and I'm here to help. So the breakaway adapter can be inserted between any standard electrical plugs. Currently, there's no similar device on the market that can do that. If you do a product search, you might come up with a related product, but it uses proprietary outlets and proprietary cords. With my device, all you need is this. The adapter has two parts that are held together mostly by the attraction between a magnet and a plate. A decent tug allows the adapter to come apart without damage, more easily than standard plug connections. So if you forget to unplug your vehicle, moving the vehicle breaks the connection and your cord is waiting for you when you return. If you like, the adapter pieces can be left on the cords or on your vehicle, ready for reconnection later. If it falls in the snow or gets wet, it's no more of an issue than it would be with a regular cord. All you really have to do is brush it off. Now, the basic purpose of my device is to make an electrical connection which is secure during use, but breaks apart easily under stress. The inspiration was I wanted to help people in Fairbanks who drive off without unplugging. But the idea has broader applications. It's useful for any situation in which electrical cords could be pulled hard enough to cause damage. So some problems that could be reduced are tripping over cords that don't break free, tipping over appliances that get tangled. The list goes on. My prototype was built from existing plug adapters. Now, the benefit of that approach is that all the parts I need to build my device are currently mass produced. So it would not be very difficult to begin. The biggest problem is that the prongs have to be adjusted. The connection has to be secure, so it has to have enough friction to hold together, but it also has to be loose enough to slide apart easily under stress. Coverings were made to hold the magnet and the plate. I used magnets because with magnets, the force of attraction decreases rapidly with distance. So once the device starts to come apart, it rapidly comes apart the rest of the way with very little force. The covers would not be necessary in the final product because the modified adapters would be holding those things, the magnets and the plates. There are a few variables that do have to be worked out to make the final product, but nothing complex, mostly positioning. The retail price of the parts to make my prototype was about $7, and so I think with parts purchased in bulk, the price could be even lower. So I could probably make a profit selling my product for less than the cost of one replacement cord. The last thing to mention about the prototype is I built this with the idea of making as few changes as possible to existing products. If a company wanted to make this, I have suggestions for making it even better. When I was developing my product, I stopped by Brown's Electric and Tesco in town to see if they'd heard of anything similar. At both places, they said they'd never heard of anything like it, and they couldn't believe no one had made it. So I think that points to the novelty and the market demand for my product. It would be an economic benefit to the producer and the user. So last thing, one more show of hands. For less than the price of a one power cord, who wants it? Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I think we all raised our hands, right? Hope you have some to sell. Question, you mentioned VoltSafe in your abstract. Can you describe a little how this is different from VoltSafe, which is a similar product in the market?
So they advertise themselves as the most advanced method of power control, something like that. So they allow for remote monitoring of the power usage by whatever's plugged into their outlet. And you can do remote control, turning it on and off. You can chart it out, schedule it. I don't do any of that. This is just an adapter. It has one job. It breaks apart safely when you drive off without unplugging. So that's a key difference. Mine's a non-electronic device. It's purely physical. Also, it works with anything you already have. Any standard American cord plugs in this end. Any outlet can accept this end. You don't have to buy the special cord that they sell.
I think I want one. So how does this thing work in extreme environments like Alaska, Fairbanks? Wide range of temperature where things move with temperature changes. That's the first part of my question. The second is, what's the ampacity, the amount of current we can put through that if we have loosely contacting components?
So first thing, there aren't any loose parts in here. It all makes a snug fit. And that's due to the fact that if you look at the parts it's made of, they are certified, approved outlet plug adapters. All I'm doing really is changing them slightly so that they come apart more easily. And so the weather issue has already been tested by the people who made the other parts. The safety issues have already been well addressed. I think probably there is some follow-up necessary because I've modified them, but not a lot. Mostly, I've reduced the friction to the minimum that holds it together along with the magnet force. So I don't think there's a great deal of testing that needs to be done.
I think kind of on that note, I know at my own house, sometimes I have issues because my outdoor outlets have GFCIs on them. And if I don't have a really good connection between the extension cord and the vehicle because of the moisture in the air and everything else, the GFCI frequently trips. Have you tested this on circuits that have a GFCI, and is there in it, do you lose that with any more frequency than you would with a standard plug?
I haven't tested it. But, again, it's made from existing off-the-shelf parts, so it can't be greatly different.
Thank you. I'm from Juneau. I'm not sure I could use it the way you're planning. So what are the other applications? And kind of help me understand how big of a problem really is this? Is it really worth $10 for somebody to do this?
Well, behind you, about 20 people raised their hands. So, yeah, I think it's a problem. In Juneau, perhaps not. In Juneau, you might like it, for the safety breakaway feature, just so you don't trip over cords, because when you're working outdoors, you got your skill saw or whatever plugged in across the driveway. We've all had people tangle up their feet. If you had one of these, the cord would break open, and you won't have things pulled out of your hand, or you won't have your electric heater tripped over in your cabin.
So I've got phones and other devices that charge just by a magnet. What's the advantage to using those blades and plugins on that to just going to a straight magnet?
There currently are only proprietary devices that use this. Mine is meant to be used universally. That's one difference. The other thing is that it's meant to be used with house current, whereas most of the chargers in laptops and things that have magnetic cords are substantially less current. I used this type of blades mostly so that you can't use half of this by accident. You have to use both halves.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Those were all some really great presentations. At this time, I'll ask our main division judges to begin their deliberations, and I'd like to invite the junior division judges to take their seats at the judges' table. As we transition to the next division, let's give a big round of applause to our main division finalists for their hard work and innovation. Now, I am pleased to introduce Sammy Bass. Sammy is a UAF sophomore majoring in business with a minor in environmental change. He is an honors student in the Climate Scholars Program and serves as an external affairs chair for the associate students at UAF. Passionate about environmental sustainability, Sammy brings experience in oceanographic research and has held leadership roles advocating for climate action. Please join me in welcoming Sammy to the stage.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Felicia. Let's give one more big congratulations to all those phenomenal finalists in the main division. This is my first AIC, and I am extremely excited to be the junior division MC for the evening. The junior division is specifically designed for teens aged 13 through 17 and is made possible through gifts through Kinross Alaska and Alaska 529. Through their community values, both of these organizations recognize and reward excellence. Competitors will receive cash prizes of up to $1,000, an AIC backpack full of goodies, and a medal or ribbon of honor. This year, we received 65 applicants, and 6 finalists were chosen for this division after the preliminary evaluations by UAF students like myself and UAA students. Each finalist has 3 minutes to make their presentations, followed by 3 minutes of questions from the judges. Competitors, as a reminder, please remember to watch your timing on the monitor, keep the microphone close to your mouth, make sure to look at the judges, and if you aren't comfortable with the slide advancer, just say next slide and our team will advance them for you. There's a step stool right here in this cubby if you need it. And the most important thing is just have fun. So Colton Paul and Endelyn Witten, if you could come over here on the side of the stage. They are sophomores from Lathrop High School, and they will be presenting their idea, the power outage detector, first. The remaining ideas will be presented in order as seen in the program. And I am pleased to introduce you to our esteemed panel of AIC junior judges who have the fun yet challenging task of evaluating today. Please welcome Peter Webley, our Junior Division Chair with UAF Center for Innovation, Commercialization, and Entrepreneurship. Yeah, just give him a round of applause. Next up, we have Brian Crandall with the UAF College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences. There he is. And Jomo Stewart, President and CEO of the Fairbanks Economic Development Center. Corporation, sorry. Let's get started. Power outage detector, the stage is yours.
Hello, and good afternoon. My name is Colton Paul.
My name is Endelyn Witten. We are going to be presenting the power outage detector. So we started out with the problem of power outages in more rural areas of Alaska that are not solved immediately, which is what we are working with. Our criteria was that we needed a durable, operational, and understandable machine for the more rural areas that don't have very many people to rely on. And we were stuck with the cold, unforgiving weather of Alaska for about 9 out of 12 months and expensive materials. So we're targeting rural citizens of Alaska. All right, so we were starting with the idea of it's essentially like a metal box that would connect to power poles that can read these poles. And once it's triggered, it would send an alert to power outage companies. This acts as an alert system kind of similar to a fire alarm system that would send out alerts to a fire company once tripped. This would involve less manpower, which is good particularly in Alaska.
So, as we can see, it's a simple device that is easily mounted, and the idea behind it is to be mounted directly to the pole and wired in, so when the power is no longer being fed into it, it will be tripped and send a signal back to the power company. And the plan is to put it above a level about 6 feet off the ground, so it can be easily accessed and also be out of the way of the snow.
Our design is unique because it's specific to Alaska's rugged winters. Unlike traditional methods relying on people to come out and inspect the power line, this device automatically does so. This would also only have to cover about 2 to 3 poles instead of having an individual box for every single power pole. So our ballpark estimates for an individual unit would be about 100 to 300. And because mass production brings some of that down, it would be about 100 to 150 for an individual unit.
We also wanted to take the time to acknowledge our teacher, Mr. Benshoff, who aided us with this, and our classmates, Matthew, Joshua, and Reed.
I'm live. Thank you for the presentation. Great job to stay on time. My first question is, who in the power utilities have you had a chance to speak to? Have you seen from their systems that they don't know when things fail? Have you spoken to the power companies themselves yet?
We have not spoken to them yet. We originally got this idea from our teacher, Mr. Benshoff. We knew that there was a problem because I personally live significantly out of town, and the response time is long, and there are constantly people coming out, linemen coming out to inspect and try and find the source of the problems. And I know that we rely on a lot of people to call in the power outages.
Sorry, getting used to the microphone. Thank you for your presentation and idea. So when you say it would alert the power company, can you give a little more detail? Is this connected to a sat phone? Is it give a GPS location? Is it like, how do you picture this working?
We were thinking more along the lines of a radio wave system, similar to a lot more systems that have been used in the past, just directly used in this aspect.
Thank you for your presentation. I think this is something very interesting to run by Golden Valley here, and I'm sure they would love to give you some feedback. I guess I have more of a comment, question, using radio waves, things like that. I know when they build power lines, it's kind of through, they have to cut down trees, and they're in really, especially in rural areas, kind of being aware that the trees can provide some blockage there. So maybe, taking that into consideration. But great idea, guys.
A comment as somebody that lives in Esther, and I have to call in when I have no power in my house. It would be great not to have to call in and have them come to the issue rather than me tell them to come to the issue. So I appreciate you looking at this challenge, having lost my power twice this winter.
Thank you, Colton and Endelin. All right, next page. Our next competitor is from Anchorage. Dia DuBois, a 10th grader from West High School, will pitch CRISPR for cancer treatment. Good luck, Dia.
Hello, everyone. I'm Yedidia DuBois, and I have a question for you all. What if the cure to cancer was within us all along, right there, under our noses, but we just haven't tapped into its full potential yet? Let me introduce you to the future. This is CRISPR for cancer treatment. Now, before we begin, I would like to have a show of hands of those in the audience who have ever been affected by cancer in any way, whether it been a personal diagnosis or that of a loved one. Yeah, me too. and I have a long history of cancer in my family. But that can change. According to the CDC, cancer is the second leading cause of death worldwide, and over 50% statistically have ever been influenced or affected by cancer in any way. But it doesn't have to be this way. For some background, a cell is affected and its functions are affected by the DNA sequence. And when its DNA is mutated, such as a cancer mutation, it will affect the cell and create a cancerous or an oncogene. My idea is to use CRISPR, or clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats, to locate and use Cas9 to implement an RNA pattern that will locate the DNA mutation, as well as cut it and revert it back to its normal state. So some of the benefits of using CRISPR are early detection of cancer, as well as being able to help those with a familiar history and of those who are at high risk of cancer. In addition, that there are also very harsh techniques of treating cancer that destroy the cells rather than revert it, such as chemotherapy that leave very devastating side effects. For production, we need to do blood tests and mutation examinations to locate mutations before they occur, as well as a Cas9 test to see how they react with RNA with DNA that mutates very rapidly, since that's what cancer cells do. They mutate multiple times as well rapidly. And with the addition that with the DNA and double helix, we're able to locate and fix the DNA cell after its mutation back to its original state without changing it. Now, I would like to reiterate the impact that this idea has. As of 2023, almost 10 million people have lost their lives to cancer worldwide. That is the entire state of Alaska's population 14 times. But we can bring that down using CRISPR, the answer that's inside of us. Now, our target areas are oncology centers in Alaska, as well as rural areas where they do not have access to such techniques. And in conclusion, CRISPR and DNA reparation can save the world and bring us towards a cancer-free future. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Exceptionally well done to finish on 000. Having presented presentation for 30 plus years, that's really impressive. You mentioned about where you would like to work with the medical profession on this with those particular clinics. Have you had a chance to speak to those, not the end users that would benefit from the process, but would use the process? Have you spoken to them about how they might implement a new capability like this into their everyday testing?
Well, thankfully, due to this competition, I have had a contact from USC. She was willing to, she already has research of CRISPR as well, and she was willing to implement this towards their research, as well as since cancer is a personalized diagnosis, not every treatment will work for each cancer patient. So it will work really well to have personal blood tests to see where mutation is which. Is it adenine and thymine, or what is the area that we can revert back to its original state?
So I think you answered this before I asked, but I just want to make sure that I'm understanding. This would be personalized to each patient. You do the blood test, you find the mutation that is specific to that cell dividing uncontrollably, and you remove the mutation to restore the cell to a normal rate of division. Am I following that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
One thing I would like to add is that Cas9, the protein, what scientists do is they implement the RNA of the mutated DNA. So let's say it's adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. They'll find the reparation of the RNA, implement it into the Cas9 protein. It will locate the affected DNA, cut that, because that's what Cas9 does, and it will automatically repair to what the original purpose of the DNA was before its mutation. So every person is different due to the blood test, because not everybody has the exact same DNA. So that's why blood tests, and it will be really good to have everybody have their own identified and personalized treatment.
Okay, and the protein that you're using would then target all of the affected cells?
Each time it depends, because not every cell or every DNA is the same. Each one is identified and separate because DNA, not every cell is the exact same and functions the exact same way.
Okay, thank you.
I guess how long would this process, from beginning to end with one patient?
Okay. This process has already been completed with the use of sickle cell, which is a genetic disease. They've already used CRISPR. And for the process from start to finish where they had a blood to a patient, it took for her 6 months, or around 6 months to 9 months to fully recover and for her gene to come back to straight. They did do blood test and examinations for mutations, and she has a full recovery as of 2001.
Thank you, Dia. Next up, we have a sophomore from Lathrop High School, Sydney Plumley, sharing the idea, sensory blocking hats.
Hi, I'm Sydney Plumley, and my idea is the sensory blocking hats. So, before I could do anything in this competition, I had to define what I wanted to fix. I did this using a design brief, which went like this. First, I defined the problem, which is that I often experience sensory overload where everything is too loud or too bright, too many things happening. I would like an easily accessible space to recover quickly. My criteria was that my final product would have to block out noise and sight completely, or at least 90%. The constraints were that it had to be safe, and it had to be something that I could feasibly make, so no force fields. And I had to finish this before the submission deadline. My idea would primarily be for other autistic people and those who experience sensory overload. So I thought up as many ideas as I could and highlighted the ones that I thought were the best or feasible with an X, as you can see. I selected my 3 best ideas, and my criteria and constraints, blocks out noise and safe, and feasible, to create a decision matrix, then asked my classmates to rate them on a scale from 1 to 10. Between the cube you sit in, noise-canceling hat, and noise-canceling blanket, the sensory blocking hats won out with an average of 9.06. My basic design is simply a hat that has a foldable flap that completely covers the head, falling against the shoulders. There are removable metal weights for added comfort or for fidgeting. The fabric would have to block out sound but not be too hot or heavy, and it would have to be easily taken off even if you didn't have use of your limbs. The fabric that completely blocks out noise and sight doesn't exist yet, or I haven't found it, so I would have to synthesize my own fabric. This is my initial sketch, and most products that block out sensory input block out one kind, like headphones or a blindfold. My hat would block 2 inputs, and it would be comfortable and not too expensive. Thank you.
So, I too often get overwhelmed by sensory input, and just went on a trip to New York City a couple weeks ago where the sheer number of people and everything going on, and I grew up in New York, so I should be used to it, but I no longer am. I wish I'd had that hat with me at the time. It would have been quite useful until I adapted to the amount of stimuli coming in. So you say you're looking for a fabric that can be noise and light blocking, and that is the important step that you need to find this material before you could actually produce a prototype, yes?
Yes, I have produced an initial prototype, but it's not very effective.
Okay. And have you, just one challenge that springs to mind is it would come down over your face and your ears, correct?
Yes.
But you clearly would still like to be able to breathe.
It wouldn't cinch at the bottom,
okay.
so.
Okay. I'm thinking through the process. I'm very intrigued by this idea, and I'm thinking through the challenges involved, but I think that you've already considered them as well, so nice work.
Thank you, Sydney, for the presentation. I too like my quiet places, even though I'm a faculty member at the university and teach. I think we all like our quiet spaces, and therefore the ability to build a quiet space is fantastic. You mentioned about the material that you might need to print on and make it. Have you thought if the end user could make their own? So what you're doing is you're just selling the design, and then they can make it at home rather than you having to make all these different types of them yourself. Like you're selling the printed design, or you're selling the constructed file that you could send. So rather than building it, you're selling them the ability to print it, make it themselves.
That sounds like a good idea that I haven't considered, but if I were merely sharing the pattern, I would like it to be free, because I don't want this to be an expensive thing that you have to save up for. I want it to be available for everyone.
And there are ways to do that through something called open source community, where you can make it for the community to use.
First off, great presentation for, sensory overload and everything. You did an amazing job. I love your prototype. So far, you would pull this down, or there you go. I was wondering, that was not how I thought it worked. That looks very feasible. Yeah, okay. Just had those comments. No particular question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sydney. Next up, also sophomores from Lathrop High School, we have Jaden Webb and Sean Palchikoff pitching Snowzip.
Hello, my name is Sean Palchikoff.
I'm Jaden Webb.
And our idea is Snowzip.
Okay.
The problem, well, growing up in Alaska, I go snow machining a lot and camping at cabins. But to bring your supplies in a sled, you have to use a lot of bungee cords and a tarp. And it becomes a hassle and can take up a lot of time. So,
an idea we fixed for that solution our solution is the Snowzip, which is this. This is our rapid prototype. It would be made out of tarp, and you could put your sled in it, so it's like a bag. And it has a top zipper here instead of ropes, and it would be way easier to access your camping materials or whatever you have inside.
detect whether or not a person has lung cancer using AI, and it has a speed of 2.2 seconds per scan, while traditional methods takes days to weeks. It has a 95% detection accuracy, while traditional methods varies but are often lower. Lungnet is accessible to all, while traditional methods are limited to major hospitals. And last but not least, Lungnet has a lower overall cost, while traditional methods have a very high cost, and we usually have to do retests, and they have a lot of misdiagnoses. So who benefits from Lungnet? Patients, number one, they can do it at home as well if they don't have transportation or whatever is limiting them to go to hospital. And then doctors such as radiologists, they use their naked eye right now, which cause a lot of misdiagnoses, so an AI-powered tool can increase their efficiency. And then hospitals and clinics, a lower cost-effective way to detect lung cancer makes more patients come to the hospital, which is good for the hospital. And then developing in remote areas where this type of technology hasn't been used or hasn't been introduced yet. So how LungNet works is you upload a lung CT scan of your lung, and an AI algorithm analyzes that lung CT scan and cross-references that lung CT scan with known patterns of early lung cancer, and then a diagnostic report is generated within seconds. So LungNet uses a CNN, and the machine learning algorithm was trained on over 900 pre-classified clinical lung CT scans, and then the hyperparameter tuning allows LungNet to detect lung cancer with a better accuracy than doctors on average, and LungNet learns and improves with every scan. So like I said before, LungNet has an accuracy of 95%, and it has identified 23% more early-stage cancer cases than traditional methods. So LungNet right now can detect lung cancer, but it can adapt to different types of cancer, and it can also go to more accessible areas with financial instability. So this is the business model. As you can see right now, I don't have a lot of time. And then my total available market is 4.68 billion. My serviceable obtainable market is 97 million. And my serviceable available market is 268.06 million. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahi, for your presentation, and I appreciate you and your family coming up from Florida. So my question is, you mentioned it being software as a service-based approach and web-based, and then I noticed in your business model you had some licensing costs. How might the homeowner access this when the licensing cost to the hospital is $500,000 a year? How might I, if I wanted to upload it, access this when I don't have that type of available funds to log into some software? Have you thought about how an individual homeowner might access this?
Yeah, so if I go back, over here, if you just want to do like a per scan fee, if you do have financial instability, you can I would price it for $10 per scan. And there's like subscription models for like hospitals and stuff as well. But if you're just a patient at home, and you just want to like do a test, then you can do it for like $10.
And I guess this is just for clarification. You would need to make sure, because we talked about the use for remote sort of populations, but you'd need a CT scan first to then be able to upload into this AI. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can go to a hospital, and it does not cost a lot to get a CT scan.
So you get the CT scan, and then they provide you with the results, and then you then can go ahead and take it at home and upload it.
Yes.
Okay, I would see that as a very feasible way to get it into people's hands. Because I think about this being in the hospital's hands, and then how much they might bill for that. Versus, you billing $10 per scan to someone seems probably appropriate. So I'm glad you're bringing it into people's hands.
Okay. I guess my final question from me is, if I was an individual user uploading, have you thought about patient privacy when you're uploading someone's personal CAT scan? Obviously, hospitals have their HIPAA-based approaches, but how might the system work if I uploaded it from home over an unsecure network?
Yeah, so if it's a subscription model or like I'm licensing it to someone, the software would only collect the data from that specific person or company or whatever. If you're just a home person and you're like using it from your house, then it would only collect your scans and no one else would be able to see it.
Good job, Mahi. Thank you, Junior Division. You all did a fantastic job presenting today. Securing a spot in the AIC finals is truly an achievement worth celebrating. Your presentations this afternoon were outstanding, and we want to extend a special shout out to the teachers who brought AIC into their classrooms, especially Christopher Benchoff from Lathrop High School, who had 29 students submit ideas, with 4 of those that made it to today's finals. Judges, please head into the deliberation room to make the ranking decisions. Hosting AIC is genuinely a team effort, and I'm honored to pass the microphone to Lisa Casino Putnam, Vice President of Public Relations for Usibelli Coal Mine and the Executive Director of the Usibelli Foundation. Usibelli Coal Mine has provided hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years and has committed their support until 2027 and hopefully beyond. Their funding provides travel assistance, outreach in rural areas, and cash awards. Joining Lisa is Eugene Wiltz, one of my buddies, and a freshman majoring in Homeland Security and Emergency Management with a minor in accounting. Eugene is a fellow senator of mine on the Associated Students of the University of Alaska Fairbanks, who loves advocating for students' rights and is Vice President of Public Relations in the Associated Students of Business. Together, Lisa and Eugene will present the Cub Division presentations. Thank you.
Thanks, Sammy. I had a note here. I was like, Tammy, I'm going to go off script as usual. But I just want to also give a shout out to Mr. Benchoff, because we are so fortunate to have teachers like him in our community who are inspiring the young minds throughout Alaska to participate on a stage like this. When I was a freshman, junior, senior, I can guarantee you I was not behind a podium solving our world's problems. So congratulations and thanks to Mr. Benchoff. I've been a big fan for AIC for many years, and I think the Cub presentations really always steal the show. Their energy, their creativity is inspiring, and judging by the lineup today, I don't think this year is going to be any different. We have 6 fantastic presentations coming your way, and we can't wait for you to see what these young innovators have come up with. Our Cub finalists will be going home with some great swag, including AIC backpacks, shiny medals or ribbons, and cash prizes ranging from $50 to $500.
Hello, everyone. And speaking of Mr. Benchoff, he was actually my 10th grade engineering teacher. I'm glad to see that he's still leading the future generation of innovators. All right. So, our Cub finalists have 3 minutes to present their ideas, followed by 3 minutes of questions from the judges' panels. Competitors, please remember, watch your timing monitor. I will stop you once the time is up. Also, keep the microphone close to your mouth. You want to make sure that the judges hear your ideas. Look at the judges and not the screen. If you aren't comfortable with the slide, just say next slide, and our team will advance them for you. If you need an extra boost, as you've heard before, we got this stuff still for you. Presentations will start with the Maritime Farming Site Assessment and Selection Tool. presented by Nirbay Arun, a fourth grader from Washington. The remaining Cub competitors will present in the order listed in the program.
Yes, and it's now my pleasure to introduce our judges for the Cub Division. We have Sumutra Sakalkar, Chair of the Cub Division and a UAF Graduate Research Assistant, Joshua Macchione, representing Kinross, Alaska, and Morgan Dulian, representing the Fairbanks North Star Borough School Board. Let's give our judges a big round of applause and thank them for volunteering their time today. And with that, we'll kick off the Cub presentation, starting with Nirbay Arun with the Mariculture Farming Site Assessment and Selection Tool. Nirbay, when you're ready, come up onto the stage and just give us a thumbs up, and we'll start your time, and best of luck.
Hello, fellow AIC judges. My name is Nirbay Arun, and today I'm presenting Mafasa for revolutionizing mariculture farming site assessment. Imagine you're a mariculture farmer and you're trying to plant or cultivate some seafood. However, you realize that your company is in great losses due to the site's parameters not matching with the needs of your specified seafood. What if there was a way to make site selection much more comprehensive and reliable so that you can bank on it each time you do a site selection? Meet Mafasa. Mafasa is a web-based tool that encompasses a novel site selection algorithm. This web-based tool is as easy to operate as 1, 2, 3, 4. The first step is to define the region and the site. The next step is to select your specified seafood. Then assign parameters that are the major criteria to define how optimal the site is. Jot down your observations as well. With a click of the button, you will see the suitability of your site for the specified seafood. Together with Mafasa, we can pave the way towards making mariculture farming much more reliable and sustainable. Thank you.
I guess I can go. Really good presentation, and I really love your name as well, Mafasa. I like it. There was one question I had was what type of what brought you to this topic, and then have you spoken to some of the mariculture kind of already who are doing for example, Kodiak? Those communities, have you spoken to them about your project so far?
Could you please repeat that question? I didn't.
Sorry. My question was have you spoken to the communities that your project will apply to so far?
That's a really good idea. This project is affiliated with Dr. Sherry Mansur from the University of Alaska Fairbanks. I think this is a similar research is being done by them, and they have developed the site assessment toolkit, which would be really helpful towards it would be really helpful towards the data collection. So I think that's something that is a great idea to consider, and that is a really good next step that would have a lot of merit in it. Any other questions?
Nearby, you are so brave and you are such a great speaker. Thank you for coming to Alaska to share this idea.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. My question to you is, what brought you to this amazing idea? So what are the problems that you see in the world that you hope to address with this idea?
Yeah, there are multiple steps to which we arrived in this problem, where we brought the solution. So the first step was that if I'm allowed to disclose this, I do some other projects as well, and that's related to some of the global warming aspects. So one of the reasons as to why we get to mariculture farming itself is because the current fruit and vegetables will potentially lead up to CO2 emissions. And okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks for setting the bar so high, Nirbay. Please welcome Denali Walrath, a 7th grader and 2-time previous competitor from Nome, for her first presentation of Ball Be Safe.
Hi, my name's Denali. I'm in the 7th grade and I live in Nome, Alaska, and I made the Ball Be Safe. The Ball Be Safe is a sports training device, safe for indoor use, that addresses a national epidemic, as currently 1 in 5 children between the ages of 2 and 19 are obese. The idea for the Ball Be Safe. The idea is to keep kids active, keep kids warm, keep your valuables safe, and keep you safe. As you can see, I slip a lot, and this is one of the reasons that I made this. I wanted to make a product that would keep you warm and your belongings safe. Utility. Who does my idea help? My idea helps people who can't go outside for any reason, or people who don't want their belongings broken. How does it help them? It keeps them inside, and nothing gets broken. Next slide, please. Sorry. How is my idea original? I searched for a lot of things. Safe ball, no break ball, Ball Be Safe. I found similar things like yoga balls or beach volleyballs, but the thing is that they don't have the same reaction time, and that's one of the reasons I made the Ball Be Safe, so you can train. And when you try to bump it for like a Ball Be Safe, it has fast reaction speed. Usage. About 53% of kids ages 6 through 17 play sports. Sports help children's brains develop memory, focus, and adaptability. Sports benefits kids' physical and mental health. Children usually get symptoms of the cold or other illnesses from the cold. These are all reasons to have the Ball Be Safe. Feasibility. How can I make this a reality? Well, I've already made many prototypes, and additional versions will continue to improve and refine the Ball Be Safe. Then I would seek investors to make the ball be safe a reality. How does my idea have potential? Well, it extends athletes' practice time, and it keeps people and their belongings safe. Value. The Ball Be Safe value is important because the Ball Be Safe addresses the obesity as a national epidemic by keeping kids active. Obesity costs nearly $1.3 billion per year in healthcare. The Ball Be Safe also keeps windows from being broken, and a window can cost around $500 to $1,200. People's immune systems can also be weakened because of the cold, and around 43% of kids play multiple sports. All these reasons are reasons that the Ball Be Safe will have a good product, be a good product. Before I end this, I'm going to show an example of the volleyball. I'm going to set and bump. As you can see, the Ball Be Safe is good for setting and bumping, and I've made many more. Footballs, softballs, basketballs, and I plan on making way more. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
Well, first of all, great job using your time. You used the full amount, and your presentation was really great. This is very timely for me personally, as I just broke a picture in my house while playing with my daughter, throwing a ball to her, so I immediately gravitated toward this. Do you think you would potentially make any kind of peripherals for this, like a net or something that you could use in tandem with the ball?
Yeah, so I think a net would actually be a really good idea so you can set and bump. But what I have been doing is I've been serving too, because it's good for serving. I've been doing it at a wall because it's safe, so you can serve at a wall and it won't make any noise at the nighttime or anytime, and it'll just go right back.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, fantastic presentation. I have a question about how did you develop the patterns? So I'm a knitter, and I was really interested in all these different designs and the sizes. Did you come up with this, and like how quickly can you kind of develop these?
Yeah, so I crochet and knit, and I first originally made this by just crocheting around, and I randomly made a ball. But it takes 2 to 3 hours to make one, but those balls right there, the small ones, those ones took me like less than 10 minutes to make, and it's like 50 cents worth of yarn. And then the regular ones are like $2 to $3 for one. And I just kind of made it. I didn't really follow a pattern. I just kind of made it, and then I did what I thought was best. But once I actually make the Ball Be Safe a thing, I'll make a pattern to set in place for each ball.
A really great presentation. I've also seen you kind of come to this competition for a while, so it's really great seeing your current presentations. My question was, I don't know, don't really have a question, but so like, do you see like the product that you have this? Is it like you're selling this product, or is it like you're selling the design? Like, what's the Ball Be Safe? Like, what's your project is for?
So I made this because I've broken a mirror. I've broken many things because of balls, and this would be something I'd sell, and I'd probably cost it at like $6 because it takes $2 to $5 per like yarn and the stuffing and all of that for one of the bigger ones, and it takes 2 to 3 hours to make one. But as I make more and more, it will take less time.
And one more question I had was the materials. Like, for example, like I work on the North Slope for my research. So can this be made with like any kind of materials? For example, muskox, kind of the fur or caribou fur? Or
yeah, it could be made out of any type of fur as long as it's yarn or anything like that. Thank you.
Well done, Denali, and it's really great to see you again at AIC. Please welcome Izzy Merlot, a 5th grader from our Golden Heart City, who is presenting Pop-Up Pet Therapy.
Hello, my name is Usibelli Merlot, or Izzy, and my idea is called Pop-Up Pet Therapy. Pop-up pet therapy will help people like in businesses get confident and less stressed in their work. So my idea for pop-up pet therapy is to get like a pop-up like fence or a heated motorhome or something like that to keep the pets happy and safe, while outside people can walk in and safely be around the pets and like pet them and snuggle up with them. So we could bring like the fence around and like bring it to events like the fair or Midnight Sun Run, and so like the people there will have time to like get familiar with pets, and it will also help the like pounds and things like sell off the animals and help our community be like healthier and less stressful for the community. The way I could do this is first I would need to like partner up with the pounds, and I could also like ask friends to like allow snuggly puppies and kittens to join me, and just like movable fence to keep the animals in, and I could do that, I think. Yes. I think that's all. Any questions?
Wonderful presentation. This is such a good idea, and I wanted to ask a little bit about what made you think about this idea, because I think it would really help with a lot of people's stress, like you said, and their anxiety. And so what kind of led you to coming up with this great idea?
Well, I used to kind of stress sometimes, but then my family adopted a puppy named Pancake, and so that really helped. But then my dad had us give her away. But in that short amount of time, that like really helped me, and I want other people who like don't have enough money to buy an animal like experience that happiness and joy.
Did your dad give it away because he was allergic? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm allergic to cats, and my daughter wants nothing more than a cat right now. So I think this would be a really good opportunity for her to play with some kittens or cats, and then I don't have to be allergic to them. I was thinking about this a little bit. This would be really useful potentially for therapy on college campuses, especially when students are doing test taking, if they're doing finals or midterms. There's actually been some research done where that helped them with their test grades because they weren't as stressed out. So that might be another opportunity to look at. Really great job presenting. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I also had a just suggestion, not really a question. I see a great potential for your kind of your applications, especially with the mushing community that's been growing in Alaska. Especially those like Yukon Quest, Iditarod races, like where they have to rest their dogs. I think this would be a great potential for the mushers. So I think that would be a great next step for you to talk to the mushers and see how they can test it out for you. And that way, there's a big market for that, I think.
I'll also say that another application that I saw similar was when they rolled out the COVID vaccines. The different doctor's offices across Fairbanks, I remember that they brought in therapy animals to help with patients, children who were there to get their shots because it can be scary. So that's another place that you might consider maybe starting this is at pediatric clinics or at the doctor's offices. So I don't know if you've ever thought about something like that in addition to just bringing it to the fair or to somebody's house. Taking it where children might be going through a hard time.
I was also thinking like people who are working, like there could be a lot of stress, so like just like a quick break on lunch could help them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Izzy, and I would definitely love to be one of your customers. Next up is Ruby Merlot, and if that last name sounds familiar, that is because this third grader happens to be Izzy's little sister, presenting Family Friendly Kitchen.
Hi, my name is Ruby Merlot, and my idea is family-friendly kitchen. Why I chose it is because I love cooking with my mom, and I wanted everyone to share that memory. Why it's called family-friendly kitchen is because there will be a big playhouse, so kids can play, and grown-ups talk and meet each other. There will be a chef that will teach kids how to cook once a week, and you could buy that food for like $10, and yeah. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. What are some foods you think would be good to learn how to make if you're new to cooking?
Like maybe like tacos and like dinner foods. So like if you don't have enough money to buy the food, it will be a little bit cheaper so you can get it.
Awesome. That's a great answer. Thank you.
Ruby, thank you so much. You're doing a great job, and I'm so proud of you for coming up here and sharing this idea, and you're very brave. So we'll start there. You did a really good job explaining what you want to do, and also explaining how your own personal experience cooking with your mom and having a good memory, you want other kids to have that. So that was great. I understood that. You did a good job. My question is, where would you want to have this great big playhouse? Where do you think that you'd want to have that?
Like maybe like near like a store or something. So like if we run out of supplies, we can like quickly go to the store and get some supplies.
Super smart. Great answer. Thank you.
Really good presentation, and like I like your idea, and also very brave presenting here. When I was your age, I would have not been able to do what you're doing. So, great job, Mike. I don't really have a question, but I guess one maybe like suggestion like your sister. This could be something like a potential collaboration with your sister, maybe that you could do a pop-up like kitchen, for example. You have dogs, you have like kind of family friendly, so you can have maybe something that could be a potential for your future.
Ruby, if I can give you another maybe suggestion, maybe not a question, but have you ever gone to the farmer's market?
Yes.
I think this would be a really cool place. The farmer's market has a thing called chefs at the farmer's market, and I think your idea is so perfect to partner with them and maybe do a kids version of that. So that's a great spot for maybe your next step.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. I am not a chef, so maybe you could teach me some kitchen tips. my children would probably want to spend more time with me in the kitchen if I knew how to cook. One of the many great things about Arctic Innovation Competition is its open and inclusive format. It's completely free to enter, any idea is welcome, and participants are encouraged to submit as many ideas as they like, so really the sky is the limit. So Denali Walrath took that to heart and submitted multiple entries this year. Impressively, 2 of her ideas made it to the Cub finals. This is her 3rd year in a row entering AIC and her last as a Cub, but I have a feeling that we will see her in the junior division next year. So let's give a warm welcome back to Denali as she presents her 2nd idea, Frazzled, Frozen, Free.
Hi, I'm Denali Walrath. I'm in 7th grade and I live in Nome, Alaska. And I made the Frazzled Frozen Free. The idea for the Frazzled Frozen Free. I have to walk across campus after some practice in the mornings. So when I walk across campus, my hair gets all frozen. And then once I get to school, my hair's frazzled. And I don't have enough time to use a blow dryer. All these reasons led me to have the Frazzled Frozen Free. Utility. Who does my idea help? My idea helps people without much time, people who want to look presentable, people who live in the cold, and people of any ages. Just especially people who swim. How does it help them? It lets them have great hair while still living in a place where your hair can freeze. And if you're in a rush, you don't need to grab your hairdryer. Novelty. How is my idea original? Well, I looked everywhere for anything like it. I found bonnets, hair caps, and towels, and stuff like that. All are similar, but they don't keep your hair styled and warm. I made a product specifically because my time is limited, and I don't have time to restyle once I get to school. There's nothing that keeps your hair styled and warm. How can I make this reality? Well, I've already made a prototype, so I'd let people on my team try it. Then I would share with other swim teams and clubs. Once people knew about it, I would find a swimming brand and then collaborate with them. How does my idea have potential? Well, many of my swim teammates have complained about their hair freezing, and I've experienced getting my hair frozen many times this year. Usage. Studies show 15 to 20% of Americans arrive constantly late to work. 1 in 5 workers arrive late at least once a week. 10% of workers arrive late once a week, and 11% twice a week. And then 69% more than twice a week. 70% of people live in a place with freezing temperatures. The Frazzled Frozen Free would help prevent these happenings. Value. How my idea be profitable? Well, in the US alone, 28 million people swim just for fitness, and 3.3 million of those participate in swimming as a team sport, which is a lot of people that need this. Many people have expressed that they hate getting their hair all frazzled for school. I want to do swimming in the mornings, so I am rushed to get to school, but I still want to have good hair. Thank you for your time. Before I end this, I would like to show a demo. This is the Frazzled Frozen Free. It's a hair cover tool, and there's Velcro here for different lengths of hair, and you go like that. What you do is you put it around your head, and then you tie it at the bottom. Then you do it for whatever length of hair you have. Thank you. Any questions?
Denali, as a swimmer, I appreciate this so much, especially somebody who swims here in Fairbanks. My question is, have you mentioned prototyping with your swim team. Have you already talked to the swim team? What type of feedback have you gotten from them? Do they use any of those other products that you mentioned, like the bonnets and such?
Yeah, so I tested bonnets, hair caps, and shower tools and all of that by myself. And what I found was your hair, and especially with the shower caps, it still freezes your hair, but your hair's like clumped up because it's not as long. So when your hair's clumped up, it kind of freezes like that. And then with the other one, once it gets unfrozen, your hair is all like, since it's still wet, once it dries, it's get all frazzled up. And then this will prevent your hair from even getting cold in the first place, so your hair won't get frazzled. And my swim teammates have complained about it. I haven't showed them this yet because I didn't have enough time, but every day after we walk to school on campus, our hair freezes every time, and then sometimes it's like steaming up because of it.
So you made this prototype, I'm assuming. Did you sew it?
My grandma helped me sew it, but
Oh, cool.
I like pinned all of it.
Yeah.
I made the prototype, and she just helped me learn how to sew it.
Wow, that's great. So you're a multi-sport athlete. You sew, you crochet, you knit. I'm curious, how do you find time to do all of this? It's amazing.
Well, basketball and volleyball ended, and swimming, but basketball club starting. So I was
wow.
just like,
Okay, so you're in all of it.
Yeah.
I did have a comment. Do you think this could potentially help with humidity? I was thinking maybe a swimmer in the lower 48 who deals with humidity and less the cold. Could this potentially help with humidity?
Yeah, it could definitely. It definitely could help with humidity and blocking that, but it also could help with people not just for swimming, but also for showering. And if you don't have enough time to get to work, you could just put it on and be ready.
Cool. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good presentation again. Bringing on, just kind of building on what he said was kind of like I was curious of what's the temperature rating for this. Like, can it handle extreme colds, for example, like in here in Fairbanks?
So I'm guessing, yeah, because Nome, we've had negative temperatures, and it gets really cold there too. And I've used it, and it definitely works, and it definitely helps because I'm very rushed. But also, I want to add that the cost to have this, like all the Velcro and all of that, was $4 to $5 in materials, and it takes this one took 1 to 2 hours to make, but once I learn how to do it more, it won't take as much, and I'm guessing the price around $10. Thank you.
Well done, Denali, and congrats on making 2 of your ideas to the finals. Unfortunately, our last presenter, Hayden Penn, could not join us today, but he will be receiving an honorable mention.
How about a round of applause for our Cub finalists? I told you they would be amazing, and they really were amazing. Innovation is at the forefront of all of these young minds, and I just love it. Eugene, it's been great getting to know you, and a pleasure hosting the Cub Division with you today.
Judges, please make your way to the deliberation room, and we will take a quick 5-minute break.
Well, we're not wearing watches, so why don't you tell us?
Unfortunately, I don't have a watch.
3:25. Tammy says 3:25.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your patience. While the judges make their decisions leading us to the award ceremony, we have a few people who wish to share some comments with you. First up is Dr. Dan White, Chancellor of the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Chancellor White is a proud advocate for innovation, community, and all things nanox. When he's not leading Alaska's flagship university, you might find him enjoying the outdoors, walking around campus, or cheering on at UAF athletics. He's passionate about supporting big ideas and bold thinkers, just like the ones we're celebrating today. Let's give a warm welcome to Chancellor White.
It's a really big stage, really long. Well, congratulations to all the contestants. What an awesome day. I want to start, well, 16 years this competition has been going on, and what a great thing for our economy, you know, in Alaska, but especially in Fairbanks. And one of the things that motivates me about innovation is its ability to impact the economy and impact our lives, the lives of people who are not the innovators. Innovators are improving lives of everybody. And I think about, you know, we have had some challenging financial times at the university, and I remember when the big budget cut happened a few years ago, and we talked about that, and we ended up at the place that we would never fail for lack of funds. We would only fail for lack of imagination. If we have imagination and great ideas are always funded. And this university will continue to be strong because it has great thinkers, great innovators, people coming up with new ideas all the time. And of course, we have done well, and enrollment continues to grow at UAF, which is a great thing. And I don't know, I'm looking for future nanox out there, and I see a table right there in the middle. And I see a whole bunch of future nanox, and it makes me happy. And in fact, I see they're from Nome, right? Who's from Nome? You're already nanox, so this is going to be good. Okay. All right, where's Tammy Tragus McCook? Probably working. Okay, well, when she comes out, we're going to give her a big round of applause. And I want to thank Dean Cam Carlson. Thank you, College of Business and Security Management, for continuing to support this for 16 years. And also, Mark Herman, who's the former dean, started this Arctic Innovation Competition with Tammy. So let's give them both a round of applause. And all of the CBSM students, College of Business and Security Management students who have been helping, they're probably also working, aren't they? Is there any that are right here in the room right now? Okay, well, let's give the students a round of applause. And Tammy was out of the room, so let's give her one. And I know we had some student athletes from CBSM helping. I saw Adeline, other student athletes. Is there any chance that we have future student athletes in this room that are named Ruby Tansey? All right. Ruby signed to play with the volleyball team. That's awesome. And I saw another volleyball team with a nanox jersey, so that's great. 16 years on this journey of the Arctic Innovation Competition. Almost every single year, the presenting sponsor has been Usibelli Coal Mine. And so let's give a shout out to Lisa Casino and Usibelli Coal Mine. And I saw Justin Seavey. Didn't I see Justin Seavey? He's one of our judges. Right there from Usibelli. Thank you, Justin. Okay, and Brian Holst. Where is Brian? He's out there working. So, is that Adeline? Would you tell Brian to come in here? So Brian Holst is the CEO of the Juneau Economic Development Council. And Juneau Economic Development Council, I'm gonna wait for Brian to come in here. Where is that guy? Brian Holst, CEO of the Juneau Economic Development Council. We'll give him a round of applause. And I'm just gonna give a shout out because they have the best innovation summit. So Alaska has various innovation summits, and Juneau Economic Development Council puts on the Innovation Summit, and it's going to be February 25th and 26th, next February in 2026. So if you get a chance, go to Juneau and go to that. If you're an innovator and an inventor, it's a great forum. So let's give one round of applause for all of the judges, mentors. Raise your hand if you're a family member in here. Is there any family members? I think there's a lot. I'm looking at family members all throughout here. Let's give a round of applause for judges, mentors, and family members. Thank you. All right, well, I will quit, but I will thank you again for all of the inventors. Thank you for your imagination. Thank you for helping Fairbanks, for helping Alaska, for helping humanity. I saw a lot of inventions that are going to help us be safer. Thank you for that, and thank you for those of you who decide to come and share those experiences at UAF, and thanks to all the UAF people who have contributed to this. All right. Thank you. CBSM Dean Cam Carlson.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Chancellor White, again, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We know just what kind of wind sprint you're going in these days as you get ready for commencement and closing out the campus and looking forward to the summer semester and everything that comes with that, because literally running UAF is a 24/7, 365 operation, and we really appreciate all that you do for us. As we transition into the award ceremonies, and again, I've had an awesome time today. There's just something about the Cubs and having the Cubs come up here and do their pitch that just is really endearing to my heart. I just want to say what an honor it is to, again, co-sponsor an event like this with all of the great sponsors that we have that we highlighted earlier. Since 2009, we have proudly worked to ensure that we continue the Arctic Innovation Competition, that we bring the right individuals in, and we've been given some tremendous support to that end. And again, we can't thank everybody and everybody here that is actually participating today enough. One of my favorite parts is taking a look at some of the interests that are going forward in the future in terms of how we continue to work across not only the span of the university, but what we do with businesses here in town, how we support and utilize this event to support economic development. As I mentioned earlier, there's life out on that planet 100 million light years out. Someday we may get there, or they may get here at this point, but this is where a lot of that innovation starts to help us get in that direction. Competitors, you may find it to the finals by thinking this whole process is kind of an arduous and difficult one. Tammy, how many, or the review, because I don't see Tammy's mustard colored vest anywhere. How many applications did we have this year? 50 plus. I want to say it was in the, how many? 155. Okay, I was only off by 100. I was only off by 100. Okay, that's, I guess, in the greater scheme of things, not that large of a margin. But again, it shows just how much interest this has generated, and that is just absolutely fantastic. And we're thankful for all the competitors that came forward with this. Again, in a behind-the-scenes context, we want to basically, again, thank all of the volunteers, about 100 that go into running this, through the selection process, the cultivating of interest for something like this, running the day-to-day operations as we get ready to go into this. Again, thank you to you and many of our sponsors. And now I'd like to introduce someone near and dear to CBSM's heart, and the ability for us to continue to utilize AIC in the way that it has become each and every year. She is a CBSM Advisory Council member, a super fan of AIC, and I think a super fan of CBSM, which is kind of nice for me. It has a couple of future Nanooks, one that I met just a couple of weeks ago, Landon, that's going to be coming to UAF. What a tremendous gentleman. Please welcome Lisa Casino Putnam, the Vice President for Public Relations for Usibelli Coal Mine. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, I've got 2 Nanoks coming to UAF next year. So my son's a senior at Lathrop, and Ruby, if I was you, I would probably put the floaties back on. So I was impressed. So we've got Senior Assassin is happening around the community. I don't know if anybody has taken note of all of these senior high schoolers that are like either having goggles on or swim floaties. But if you get caught in the community without those, you can be shot with a squirt gun, and then you're out, and then you go on. So Landon's got like 4 assassins so far, and I saw Ruby with her floaties, and she took them on for a presentation. I was like, well. So, but seriously, thank you so much for being here today. I want to share why Usibelli Coal Mine is proud to support Arctic innovation and why we believe so deeply in its mission. We are a 4th generation family-owned coal mine located in Healy, just about 115 miles down the road, which, you know, is practically our version of next door in Alaska. So out there, though, when the equipment breaks or the weather turns sideways, and let's be honest, it does turn sideways in Healy, the wind literally knocks things down, there's no calling in backup for us. Our team has to be creative, fast thinking, and so when our job is to keep the lights on and home and businesses warm in interior Alaska, innovation isn't just a nice to have, it's literally survival, and heat and power are 2 things you really just can't be without when it's 40 below. Justin and I, Justin in the back, thank you for being here. Justin, I looped him in several years ago, and he has been on the main judges panel for many years and has brought lots of ideas to AIC. But Justin and I are incredibly proud to work for Joe Usibelli and the entire Usibelli family, who have built a company that believes in giving back. Philanthropy is definitely part of the company's DNA, and supporting innovation in young minds and some of our seasoned minds too is one of the best investments that we can make for Alaska's future. It's also wonderful to see so many of the local businesses standing with us in support. This year, I want to just thank all of the new sponsors and the founding sponsors who come back year after year to make this event possible. AIC is such a wonderful and unique opportunity for dreamers, for doers, and innovators of all ages. Every year, I walk away inspired, and so I thought this year I'm going to come up with my own thing. So I thought I'm going to submit next year maybe real talk, because living in Alaska means navigating more than just 4 seasons. We've got winter, full spring, second winter, spring of deception, third winter, breakup, and if we're lucky, eventually actual spring does arrive. So my idea is called the Chinook Button app. So when it's April and you're emotionally overwintered like I am, and you just want it to be warm, I've got the best solution. You create an app that does absolutely nothing except lets you push a button labeled Request Chinook Wind Now. And it could just be satisfying. So if anybody wants to help me code that wonderful app, you too can feel great that Mother Nature has listened to us and then delivers a day like today, and spring is just around the corner. I mean, we know better, but we're going to believe that literally spring is around the corner. So maybe this Chinook app will become a reality. But before I wrap up today, I do want to recognize, as Cam said, the hundreds of volunteers that make this event possible, that run behind the scenes. It takes a village to host something of this caliber. The judges, they really are the unsung heroes, because their insight, care, and commitment to fairness are what make this competition so well respected and so unique. So I would love for you to all join me in a round of applause for our volunteers and our judges. And now I'm excited to introduce one of the junior division judges. You may have seen him earlier in the activity center, wowing the crowd. And I've never met Brian personally, but I can tell you that he has left the mark on the future minds, because my stepson was sitting next to me, and when Brian got introduced as on the panel of juniors, he said, "I know him. we went up to the university with our class, and we got to talk to him, and he's really cool. And the fact that Ryan met him once, and Brian made that impression on my stepson is really awesome. So please welcome Brian Crandall to the stage, representing the UAF College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure how I got included in giving remarks, but I feel very special. Thank you. I work as an undergraduate advisor and a recruiter for the College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences at UAF. So I try to take my love of science and learning and bring those creative minds to UAF to study marine science, because it is the most fascinating thing to do. And anyone who has a love of science and a love of the ocean should be an oceanographer in my mind. It's just the perfect fit. But for almost 25 years, I was a middle school science teacher. And I have seen the creative ideas that come out of middle school students. And I have also seen that they're usually not used for a good purpose. They're incredibly creative. But those ideas often just are used to create chaos, and I do respect that. I have heard it said, though, that science is how we understand the world, creativity is how we imagine a better world, and innovation is how we make it real. And I appreciate the participation of all, especially the younger people here today, who are being bold enough to bring these innovative ideas. Because it is a very difficult thing to present an idea and be judged on it. And I truly value your bravery and your courage for putting your ideas out there to be judged by other people. It's a difficult thing to do, but we need it from you. We absolutely need it from you. As a science teacher, I know that science isn't just facts we learn in a classroom. It's more of a way of thinking about the world and understanding the world. And you don't have to study science to be a scientist, but you should study science to become a better human, to make decisions that are based on evidence instead of just on gut intuition. It's a skill that everyone should have. And if you can then take the ability to ask questions and gather evidence and apply that with an innovative twist and come up with a solution to a problem, then you are something that we will need in the next generation, especially in marine science. And I'll just give a couple of just quick examples. If you could hit that one slide that I gave. Many of you have seen one of these devices before, but this is something we use at UAF in the College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences. It's a glider. It looks like an 8-foot-long underwater cruise missile, but this is a robot that you can drop in the ocean, and it is so efficient that it can run autonomously for up to 4 months out in the ocean. Now, we have an amazing research vessel at the College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences. We operate the Sikuliak, which is a 261-foot-long research vessel, floating laboratory. It is the only ice-capable ship in the National Science Foundation fleet. It's an amazing thing. You can take this ship to the North Pole literally in the summer to gather oceanographical data and do research. But what we do at UAF isn't just use this, because this is developed by another company. We have an entire group of faculty and staff who are just amazing wizards at tricking these things out. So they load them with custom-built sensors. Our research ship, the Sikuliak, costs something like $60,000 to $70,000 a day to operate. It's expensive, and it's valuable. There's some things you can only do from a research vessel, and it's absolutely necessary. But these gliders can go out for 4 months by themselves. Every time they surface, they send the data back via sat phone. I can walk down into the basement of my building and see exactly where the gliders are in real time and what they're doing. And if we load them up with innovative ways of collecting information, the amount of data we can gather about the ocean is incredible. 30 years ago, when I was doing marine science as an undergraduate, I was on a research vessel, and the only way we had of gathering information was to literally drop something that looked like an Nalgene water bottle on a rope to a certain depth. It would open up, we'd collect the water, we'd bring it back up, and then we'd sit there and run tests on the water. But that, even one Nalgene bottle full of water in a room like this, it may not be a representative sample, let alone in the middle of the Gulf of Alaska. The oceans are huge. Everything we would test for in that bottle of water can be done every 5 minutes by this glider if you put the right sensors on it. It's always measuring temperature, salinity, pH. It has an optical sensor that someone developed where it shines a light out and sees how much green color comes back. And we use that as a way of measuring how much chlorophyll's in the water, so we know the productivity of the water. There's another set of sensors that can be towed that are high-definition cameras. When I was doing marine science 30 years ago as a young person on a ship, you would tow a plankton net. You'd pull up the plankton net, you'd empty out the water, then you'd have to spend days going through it and actually looking at the samples and identifying the creatures that you found, and it would take days. The high-def cameras we have now take millions of times that information every 5 minutes. They take photos of all of the plankton at a certain depth as we're dragging these through the water, and they have software embedded in there where they can identify what plankton it is, and then that information just gets sent back, and we have it in real time wherever these gliders are. So if we could get some of the younger people here who have these creative ideas, who are interested in studying the oceans, to suggest ways to trick out these gliders, it would be incredible, because there's tons of things that we haven't thought of. And the more information we get from the ocean, the more we understand it, the more we can understand life on Earth. So this is one of our high-tech things, but there's a lot of very low-tech solutions that can be put on these. We just need someone to ask the right question and be creative enough to think to do that, it's just incredibly important. So I'm hoping that some of you who are here willing to put your ideas out there are interested in science and are interested in studying the oceans, and will come to UAF and join us on the marine science team. And I'd be happy to help you through that journey if you want to come talk to me. But for one thing, I just want to thank you for, as I said earlier, being willing to put your ideas out there to be judged. It's a difficult thing to do, and I applaud you for it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Hello, everyone. My name is Amber Bradley. I am a student marketing assistant for CBSM. Just a quick reminder, the photo booth is open from 3:30 to 5:30 in the lobby, so grab a teammate, a friend, or a family member and go make some memories that'll last a lifetime. Competitors from the junior and Cub divisions will share $14,000 in awards from Alaska 529 to start or add to their educational savings account. Plus, there was a random drawing of all ideas in the junior or Cubs division. Please welcome Shay Bradley, the Program and Outreach Specialist, to announce 2 of the Alaska 529 awards. Shay will announce the 2025 Alaska 529 Random Draw recipient and the AIC Classroom of the Future Award.
Good afternoon. What a fantastic program it's been today. Alaska 529 is an educational savings plan that's designed to help families and parents save for education in the future. All Cub and juniors placing in 1st through 3rd in the AIC competition will receive $2,000 for their educational savings account. The Alaska 529 College Savings Funds can be used at just about any college, but we hope that the winners consider joining us as Nanooks at UAF. Additionally, all AIC youth competitors who submitted an idea were entered in for the eligibility to win a randomly selected $2,000 college scholarship as well. I'd like to congratulate Fletcher Pennington Marvel on winning this $2,000 award. We don't believe that Fletcher was able to make it today, but if you're in the audience, please stand. All right, let's give Fletcher a round of applause. The Alaska 529 Classroom of the Future Award provides $2,000 to a K-12 teacher whose students submitted an idea for this competition. The teacher is chosen at random, and I am excited to announce that the winner this year is Stacy Miller, who is an entrepreneur teacher in the Anchorage School District. Congratulations, Stacy. Unfortunately, Stacy's not able to join us, but she is leading her students through Student Marketplace so that they get to experience what it's like to be an entrepreneur for a day. All right, let's crank up the gears and welcome Lisa and Amber back to the stage, and let's give away some door prizes. Thank you.
All right, well, if we call your name, let's see, UAF student Anna is going to, where's Anna at? Over here, okay. Anna, you can go over to this table and collect your prize. So Amber, let's go ahead and draw the first one. This is for an Enchanted Toys star-shaped pop-up nightlight. Hashini Jakakoti, if you are here. All right, and then our next one is for a pair of tickets for Riverboat Discovery to Ryan Folino, is that correct? Okay, then we've got 2 vouchers for Gold Dredge 8. Oops. To Angel Debout. Okay, and then our last one is for Alaska Railroad. Nope, I'm kidding. Are these, did this change? Did the list change, or do I go by the script? But by the script is what Morrow tells me. I'm going to go by the script. Okay. So our next one is a North Pole Coffee Roasting Company gift baskets, and that's going to go to Vaughn Doolian. Okay, and then we have 2 gift certificates for a one-night stay at the Lodge at Black Rapids. The first one is going to go to Soja Hurenko. I got that right? Okay. There's a lot of hard names in here today. The second one is going to go to Max Reese. Okay, and then we have a round-trip railroad adventure aboard the Alaska Railroad Denali Star train from Fairbanks to Denali, and that is going to go to initial J. Deboui. Okay, and with that, congratulations to all of our winners. Again, if you heard your name called, just go over to the door prize table over there, and they will help you out. Okay, Eugene, you're up, according to the script.
Hello again, everyone. While our judges had a tough time selecting finalists, they weren't the only ones who got to weigh in. The public had their say too. Thanks to Chris Marak, All-State fan favorite voting, supporters from across Alaska and beyond cast their votes online this past week for their favorite ideas in each division. One winner from each division will receive a $100 prize and a one-of-a-kind Lego trophy, a creative nod to building big ideas up from the ground. If your name is called, come on up to the stage to accept your trophy and then return to your seat. Let's start with Cub Division fan favorite. Can we get a drum roll? And your winner is Pop-Up Pet Therapy by Izzy Merlot. Congratulations. And be sure to thank your fan club, which I'm a part of. Now, Sammy and Felicia, would you do the honors of announcing our junior and main division fan favorite winners?
All right, for the junior division, can I get another drum roll, please? The winner is CRISPR for Cancer Treatment by Dia DeBoy. Congratulations, Dia.
And last, but certainly not least, the main division fan favorite. Drum roll, please. Peony Botanical Extract by Michael and Paula Williams. Congratulations to all the fan favorite winners. Thank you, Chris Maroc with Allstate Insurance, who is a UAF MBA alumni and also was a student on the AIC team at the very beginning of AIC. Thank you.
Let's give a big congratulations to our 3 fan favorite winners again. My name is Paige Best, and this is my first year as the engagement manager putting on AIC with my team. However, this is not my first AIC. Once upon a time, I was a student at UAF working as a student marketing assistant, just like Adeline, Ayla, and Amber are this evening. And we hope you are all just as excited as we are to announce who this year's AIC winners are. However, our first award this afternoon is not for a competitor. It's for someone who has helped with the Arctic Innovation Competition and made it what it is today. The AIC Pioneer Award honors an individual who has made a lasting impact on innovation, not just in our community, but within the very foundation of this competition. This year's recipient has been a steadfast supporter of AIC for more than a decade. He served as the main division judge's chair, bringing professionalism and unwavering dedication to the competition year after year. His company, Design Alaska, is one of AIC's founding sponsors, whose investment in this event has shaped its success in immeasurable ways. His leadership has been exceptional, his service inspiring, and today we're proud to recognize his efforts. Jack Wilbur, please join me. Yes. Well, you guys started before me. I was going to say, please join me on stage to accept the 2025 AIC Pioneer Award, but he's already on his way. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, total surprise here. My service has been nothing but an enjoyment for me. And to be rewarded for doing something I really enjoy is just icing on the cake. So I appreciate the award, and I really wish AIC success in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jack. Now, for our first block of competitor awards, Lisa and Eugene are back on the stage to announce the rankings in the Cub Division for youth ages 12 and under. Will Chancellor White, Dean Carlson, and all judges and sponsors please join us on stage as well for the presentation of the checks and awards. And please join us to my left, so your right. Thank you.
Thank you, Paige. Well, the long-awaited moment for our Cub division has arrived. So competitors, when your name is called, please step onto the stage and shake hands, accept your medal or ribbon and check, and then visit Maro and Ayla. Ladies, please wave over here. And then Tammy's going to get everybody lined up as usual. Competitors are going to receive either a gift card or check, then line up behind your division signs photos, which will be taken immediately following. So now I'm going to turn it over to Eugene, who's going to announce all of our winners today.
You guys hang tight. You just hang out with us.
Y'all ready? All right, let's make sure they're in order. Tammy, we good? All set. Okay, we're all set. All right, so the 3 AIC Cub honorable mentions receiving $50 each in ribbons are first, starting with Ball Be Safe, Denali Walrath. For our second honorable mention, we'll have Family Friendly Kitchen, Ruby Merlot. And for our last honorable mention, we'll have biodegradable hand warmers. Oh, actually, Hayden Penn. Yep. Sorry about that. All right. And we'll move on to third through first place. Starting off with third place, AIC Cub idea receiving $200 cash and Alaska 529 award and a medal is Pop-Up Pet Therapy, Isabella Merlot. For second place, winning $300 cash, an Alaska 529 award, and a medal is Nirbay Arun with the Mariculture Farming Site Assessment and Selection Tool. All right, moving into first place, the AIC Cub idea receiving $500 cash, an Alaska 529 award, and a medal is, can we get a drum roll? Denali Walrath with the Frazzled Frozen Free.
All right, well, what an honor to recognize our Cub Division winners. So congratulations to all of you. If you could please head over to Amber, who's holding up the Cub Division sign. She'll help you line up for our group photos. Amber is right over here, so if you just were on stage, we need you to go see Amber. Yeah.
Sammy, I think it's time to announce the junior winners.
Thank you, Eugene. That was very exciting. Are the juniors all ready? Just gonna assume we all are. There's gonna be 3 AIC junior honorable mentions who will receive $50 each and a ribbon. I need a list of those from somebody. Is that it?
Oh, no.
Nope.
Parents and supporters, I'll let you know that this is also really just the award ceremony. We're going to take lots of pictures later, all right? So you can pose just what you want and have any pictures requested, but that does not mean you don't have to take pictures now.
All right. And the very first honorable mention for the junior division is CRISPR for Cancer Treatment by Dia DeBoy. The second honorable mention is Lungnet by Mahi Patel. And the third honorable mention is Snowzip by Jaden Webb and Sean Palchikoff. All right, let's get into those top 3. The third place AIC Junior Idea will be receiving $400 and an Alaska 529 scholarship. In third place, we have Power Outage Detector, Colton Paul and Endelyn Witten. All right, in second place, they will be receiving $500 and an Alaska 529 award, Worksheet Eraser by Ruby Tansey. And the first place junior idea collecting the top prize of $1,000, an Alaska 529 award, and a gold medal is, can we get a drum roll? Sydney Plumley with sensory blocking hats. Good job, Sydney, and congratulations to all the AIC junior and club competitors. Thank you to Kinross Alaska and Alaska 529 for sponsoring the youth division. Felicia, I will pass it on to you to announce the main division winners.
Thank you, Sammy. Let's take a moment to acknowledge the honorable mentions in the main division, ages 18 and older, listed on the screen. I believe one of them is here today, Noah Emerson. And any others who joined us, please come up and collect your ribbon. These competitors receive $100 and bragging rights for placing in the top 10. In fact, let's see. Let's give a round of applause to these competitors. Yeah, please stay here for a moment, Noah. So we'll move on to the 4 $2,000 specialty kicker prizes. The rules state that a competitor who wins a kicker may or may not also win a top prize. This student with the best idea submitted by a college student from any Alaska university receives the Alaska Student Kicker, sponsored by Mount McKinley Bank and presented by Jim Cooley. The Alaska College Student Kicker winner is Noah Emerson, the root of rhodiola.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
The Educational Legacy Fund sponsors the next kicker prize. The Sustainability Award, which recognizes an innovation that encourages or supports sustainability. Jack Wilbur will help present this award. The sustainability winners are Keith Cox and his team from Juneau, representing expanding electronic biomarker tools. And now, the Arctic Kicker, sponsored.
Oh, did he not come out? I'm so sorry.
Let's see. Yep.
All right, sorry, we didn't know. Sometimes they RSVP.
You're out. Davidson.
All right. Yep. Now we have the Arctic Kicker, sponsored by Respect, is given to an innovation that is sustainable and efficient and makes living in the Arctic easier. David Sandberg will present the check to this year's winner. And the Arctic Kicker winners are Ryan Tinsley, Stacy Fritz, and their team with the Alaska Adaptable Kit Foundation. Congratulations. And Alaska Adaptable Team, there is more. The Climate Adaptation Award. Alaska Adaptable Team.
Let's see, Ryan.
Yep, please stay on stage for a moment. So now, Alaska Adaptable Team, the Climate Adaptation Award, sponsored by Alaska EPSCOR, goes to the best idea that encourages or supports climate adaptation. Are Tara and Brenda here? Okay. Receiving their second kicker prize is the Alaska Adaptable Kit Foundation team. Congratulations. Thank you, kicker sponsors. If Sam from Vicente and Brian from JEDC will come to the center stage.
Brian, you're back. Sam, join him. And Sam.
So are you ready? It's now time to announce the rankings for the 2025 UAF Arctic Innovation Competition's main division. One second here. First up, receiving the $2,500 and a medal for fourth place is, let me see, one moment. Do I have the sheet? Okay. One moment, everyone. Much anticipation. Oh, thank you. Yeah, but now the results have finally are in. Okay, so for fourth place, we have the Breakaway Electrical Plug Adapter by Matthew Breer. Congratulations, Matthew. Sam and Brian, thank you. Will you swap with Jomo from FEDC and John from Alaska SBDC? Okay, so. Okay, well, we still have a third place winner, and they are receiving $3,500, and they are Peony Botanical Extract, Michael Williams and Paula Williams. Congratulations. So now, Melissa from GCI, you will be doing the honors. Congratulations to our second place winner, who will receive a robust $6,000. Drum roll, please. And our second place winner is Psychmap, Quantifiable Psychiatry by Rudra Patel. Congratulations, Rudra. And thank you to Melissa from GCI. And now for the $15,000 grand prize champion in the AIC main division is Alaska Adaptable Kit Foundation System, Ryan Tinsley, Stacy Fritz, Jessica McKay, and Dan Fritz. And congratulations again to Ryan Tinsley and Stacy Fritz. So let's capture the AIC memories and take official photos. Make sure to have your medals, ribbons, checks, and backpacks for your photos. We will start with the Cub division, followed by junior, and then the main division. All the Cub competitors, please make your way onto the stage. And then the other competitors, please stand by until your division is called. And finally, let's give a round of applause to all of our competitors. And for everyone in the audience, while the competitors are getting official photos taken, please enjoy the food and beverages. Take some photos in the lobby under the ARC or the photo booth and mingle with the AIC competitors. Thank you for attending, and we will see you next year.
All right, so we're going to have Sarah.